Okay, I think it's time to begin. So welcome to eCairn Summer Webinar Series on social selling. Today we're going to be talking about optimizing your conversion. This is the third and last webinar in this summer. My name is Virginie Glanzer. I'm the Vice President of Marketing, and I have 20 years of experience in conversion, marketing, tech, and innovation strategies to create customer experiences. Today's agenda, we're going to cover 4 topics: scaling, how many prospect and client can you engage with individually, what are the benefits of listening, how to convert, what to do, and what not to do. For those who are new to this third webinar and haven't attended the first and the second one, quickly, eCairn is a company that has launched about a year ago, Find and Connect, which is an application that allows people to discover affluence in a target market, to build a new relationship and grow a book of business using AI and machine learning. The way AI works is in twofold. First, it predicts that someone is actually an influencer by using multiple criteria. And the second, it aggregates the conversation on Twitter of those people, so it can uncover interesting tweets for you to engage. The reason why we're focusing on millennials in particularly for the financial industries is because this is a very different generation than any other generation. As you well know, the millennials are 3 times more likely to select a financial advisor from their online content. So we thought it was important to target those individuals. As a reminder, for those who are not familiar with the term social selling is of course leveraging social networks, but it really does 2 things. First, it allows you to find the right prospect. So there's a qualification process and step that is essential. And second, it's about building a trusted relationship. Without those 2 elements, it's going to be very difficult to achieve sales goals. So again, social selling is about leveraging social networks to find the right people and build a trusted relationship. So if you've attended the first webinar, we talked about optimizing your social profile. And Penny Oil, we graded her and gave her an A+ because her profile is really well done. It is relevant and meaningful. As I mentioned in the first webinar, trust is the new currency. And in order for you to be trustworthy, you need to make sure that your social profile displays a professional image, a meaningful background image, a bio that includes personal and unique traits. Use hashtag to describe your uniqueness and cross-link with other social media. Once your social profile is trustworthy, then it's about optimizing your engagement. And in the second webinar, we covered a number of topics, which included the importance of listening, adding value to the conversation, and focusing or providing content that is relevant, useful, inspirational, and entertaining, but also content that adds to that is connected and aligned to your personal value. Again, being trustworthy means that you do what you say what you do, and in that you are telling an interesting story, and you can use Twitter survey to create more engagement. Today, we're going to focus on scaling, listening, and converting. So again, once your social profile matches who you are, in a way that it creates a trusted relationship or trusted perception, I should say, then focusing on creating content that match what your audience, the people that you're following, cares about. The third step is looking at how do you scale, why do you listen, and how do you convert. So let's begin with scaling. And I've spent a little bit more time on the introduction for this last webinar because I thought it was important to remind you that your social profile and the engagement are really 2 important element and step. This third webinar now, I'm really going to focus on in the next 20 minutes or 15 to 20 minutes. So I'm going to go fast. I want to be respectful of your time. This is kind of a lunch break. And I know that you guys are very busy. So let's talk about scaling. Robin Dunbar is an anthropologist and evolutionary psychologist. And what he proposes is that humans can comfortably maintain 150 stable relationships. So in order for you to convert this engagement that you're creating on a daily basis, you have to know what are the numbers to achieve. Those numbers have to be realistic and attainable. So 150 is the number of people that you should be focusing on. No more, no less, between 100 to 150 actually. Despite the fact that you may be following 1,000 people, or that 1,000 people might be following you, really building relationship can only be sustained to 150. So that's the number you want to keep in mind to have a realistic and successful outcome. Now, if we gathered some insight from our app, Find and Connect, and how people are using it, and this is what we found. Focusing on that number, 150 prospects, we gather from that target audience around 500 tweets per day. Out of those 500 tweets per day, there's going to be 50 conversations per day that might be meaningful and relevant that you can engage with. And we're scraping those conversations and giving you 3 to 5 opportunities a day. So whether you use eCairn, Find and Connect, or another tool, that's really what you're going to set your expectation on. A list of 150 people, and then 3 to 5 opportunities per day. If you do engage, and this will take you 15 to 20 minutes a day, and you have to be consistent in order to achieve those results. But those daily opportunities roughly will become around 80 opportunities a month. And because you're going to engage with those, using those opportunities, whether you like, you follow, you're creating an engagement, out of that engagement, you will see 2 meetings per week. This is what we found through our users, and this is how we're also using Find and Connect with other individuals. So converting and scaling means that you have the right numbers in mind, and you're able to dedicate 10 to 15 minutes a day to ultimately, after a few months of building engagement and trusted relationship, you'll be normally having 2 meetings per week. So I talked briefly in the second webinar how engagement uses listening. And of course, listening is going to be key, and it's even going to be even more important in the future. I've been in marketing, almost my entire career, and listening is key for a number of reasons. I'll share with you the benefit. But in order for you to do an engagement, you have to listen to those people. It's not that you're not interested, you're interested in yourself, but if you want to build a relationship, you're going to have to listen to what people are talking about to really understand what keeps them up at night, what do they care about, and really have a meaningful conversation. So listening is key. You will need to find the right tool to listen to those 150 individuals. Of course, I'm going to recommend eCairn, which I found really efficient for a number of reasons. And one reason is that ability to listen to those to a small audience, a laser targeted audience. There's a number of tools out there that you're welcome to, and I've listed only 8 of them that allows you to listen to that audience. So finding a tool is going to be key in this conversion aspect. Now, the listening benefit, or really, important, as you can see, the first benefit is to identify opportunity. When you listen to people, you know where they, what events are they going to go, what are they doing, what information are they sharing that that allows you to connect with them. Listening also allows you to identify influencers and advocates. It will give you a mean to uncover pain points that you can be the first to address. Another element is to learn how people think about you compared to your competition. And then tweeting your strategy in real time based on your listening is another element that is going to be really beneficial to your own activity. And finally, of course, developing new sales leads. So listening is a core component of a successful social media selling conversion. Now, we talked about setting the goal of scaling with 150 individuals, and then listening, using a tool to listen to those individuals. Converting, the real converting approach takes two things. The first one is the focus. You can't be broad and connect on Twitter or on LinkedIn, for that matter, to anyone and everyone. You have to be focused. A tribe, as it's written right there, is way more, it's richer than a list. So using a tribe and people connected together, using a trial is going to be key. Oops, and I'm going too fast. So the first step is to select your own tribe. And I know that it's difficult when you start your business, whether you're a financial advisor or in another industry, because it connects to a fear of not having enough. But focusing on the tribes will make you become an expert and well-versed in this particular set of people. It's like friends, you're going to have friends based on your own personality. So it's the same concept. And so there's plenty of variation of tribes. It could be affluent working in a building in Manhattan. It could be German startup entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley, or angel investors focusing on clean tech, women in business in a particular zip code, or affluent interested in wineries in Napa. So focusing on a tribe is really going to be this key element for you to be successful at converting your social media engagement into growing your book of business. Once you have selected your tribe, then there's a process. And the process, as I mentioned earlier, throughout this webinar series is 10 to 15 minutes per day. This is a commitment. This is a day project, and it's like going to the gym. If you want to have results, it's a long-term commitment. It's not going to happen overnight. And it's a personal commitment. So if you don't have the desire, if there's always something else that you need to do, then just don't engage with this particular marketing tactic. But the process is to follow a relationship marketing funnel. And the way to do it is you start retweeting, then you follow, then you would start engaging, replying, mentioning, asking questions, or commenting. This is really the relationship building. Interestingly, the follow comes after liking and retweeting someone. And one of the ways you could use it is you could create. So Find and Connect allows you to have a set of individuals without connecting to them. So through Find and Connect, or the listening tools that you're using, you select that 150 individual in a particular tribe. So there's connection between all those individuals that makes you even more relevant. But you will get on a daily basis, opportunities to engage. And so you start with liking, retweeting, then you follow them. Once you are in that phase of replying, mentioning, asking questions on Twitter, that is the starting point of you officially starting a relationship. And you do that by, for example, asking them for a connection LinkedIn using a note, or doing a direct message. But I would assume that a lot of people who are on Twitter also have LinkedIn, and it's for those who do not have a LinkedIn profile, you could definitely direct message them. But that's really the step. The connection using a note allows, again, this notion of, we're connecting on, and we're talking on Twitter, let's extend this relationship on LinkedIn. And maybe the next step after that, if they accept this connection, is to offer a coffee or meet at a networking event. So what not to do? 3 things. Number 1, using a blanket approach, which means targeting and connecting with everyone and anyone. It defeats the purpose of you truly listening to a particular set of individual. Number 2, automatic direct message. I'm getting still today, even though it's everywhere, if you read any marketing articles, everyone says do not direct message people as soon as you follow them. So, automatic direct message is a really bad practice. Unless it's a fundraiser for your daughter or like a cause, but even that, I think it can be a hit or miss. And the third is to talk about yourself, right? This is not about you. If you engage with someone, you're going to ask them a question about them. This is about how you make them feel about themselves, not about yourself. So what to do? You begin, first thing, you choose your tribe, and as much as difficult as it can be, think of that as an experiment. Number 2, choose a listening tool so you can scale to 150 individual. Number 3, be consistent. 15 minutes a day is all it takes, but we're talking 3 months, 6 months. There's a lot of learning that are gonna come out of this daily practice. Number 4, listen and add value to the conversation. Number 5, follow a daily process, like, retweet, follow, connect, engage. And number 6, which I haven't talked yet about, is to track and measure. So use a spreadsheet if you don't have a CRM, but try to keep track of how many people are connecting back, the various topic that people are talking about, or use keywords to remind yourself. So when you look back at this engagement over the period of 3 months, you can see the various topics that you've covered or that people have talked about. You can track the number of people out of the 150 and try to see if there's some sort of commonality between the people who have followed you back. You'll learn a lot about yourself, about other people, and hopefully that will give you indication of what to do, what not to do. For financial advisors, I thought that I would add a little bit of information about social media regulation. There are elements that will require you to get pre-approval from your organization if you're part of a large financial organization. You need to have your social profile approved by your HR or legal department. Any financial recommendation that you want to share on social media needs to be pre-approved. Any links that you're also sharing with any financial recommendation should be pre-approved by your organization, as well as using a social media tool. And eCairn and Find and Connect is being used among a number of financial organizations. And sometimes we work directly with the HR, the marketing teams, and sometimes it is an individual who will ask us to be approved, a social technology vendor approved by the organization. Then there are other type of information that you can share on social media that does not require any pre-approval, but we always recommend you to archive. So any information that you would share, any links that you share, as a best practice, it's always good to archive them, whether it's keeping track on what you're sharing, the content you're sharing on Hootsuite or on a spreadsheet. And then, of course, there's things that are not permitted, like sharing any endorsement or recommendation. It's not something that is actually permitted in the financial industry. If you want to dive more, there are additional resources that I would invite you to take a look at. These are 3 examples, but social media has this interesting side, which is this openness. And there has been, I'm sure you've seen in the media and in the news, a number of social media crises, large organization posting something and then triggering a number of negative feedback. And it's becoming even more difficult to manage, because these days, with people being overwhelmed with information, with negative information happening in the world, people are becoming a lot more sensitive around their identity, their belief. And so it makes, actually, I was even hearing a comic who was complaining about not finding jokes to tell because everything was a hot topic, and you couldn't joke on anything, make fun of anyone, anything. So be prepared. Either go to your HR or legal department, ask for a social media crisis plan, which is really just a process of what if someone took it the wrong way or starting saying negative things about you or your company. What's the best approach, and how do you respond? So this is the end of this 3rd webinar. I hope it was useful and practical. As a thank you for spending time with us, we want to share a special offer, 30% off with the code Early Adopter. There is a trial on Finance Connect that you can find available on our website. If there's any other question that you have, please feel free to engage with us. And I wish you a fantastic day. We will send you an email with the webinar recording as well as the slide. And again, looking forward to helping you grow your book of business in using Finance Connect with eCairn. Thank you so much, and have a great day.